Okay.
Of course you got it.
All right, guys, just a couple minutes.
Did you find anything? It's not 7 o'clock anywhere.
Do you have legal notices, the copies of the legal notice?
In each file. But I have them on my computer.
Do you have one here?
Yeah, of any of the ones?
What are we talking about?
Just the legal notice.
Oh.
Of any of the ones?
Or the agenda, either one of these.
Oh, I have the agenda, but do you want your own
Oh,
copy?
here. Oh, you want your own copy?
Yeah, I did come
Actually,
here.
I should add the bid I have is resolution of the agenda and mass session. Maybe I should have them all pages.
Okay.
How much?
Let me make a copy of that because I need to write it.
You taking 3?
It's the only thing they had. They had dog bones,
Come on.
and stickers.
Stickers.
Do you like a lollipop?
No, I like the song. I have my coffee outside.
That's what people are here to talk.
Oh.
Didn't expect.
I'm ready.
Keep that Coke can away from me. Not dangerous with hands.
I found one.
All over.
That?
Not that one, but I found one and I got attached to it and then I lost it.
Oh, geez.
Somebody found it, but they didn't give it back to me. So Amazon sells them, you get 24 for $9.
And you have 24.
No,
Did you ever smoke cigarettes?
Yeah,
Are you quit now?
about 12 years. Why, you want me to smoke a cigarette?
No. I think that's a good,
No, this thing is,
Substitution?
yeah.
it's like I have a toy dog. Thank you so much.
I got one from my mom. Toy dog.
And it talks?
It barks.
No, this one talks. It repeats what you say.
Oh, really?
And it
Okay,
walks.
now I can do this.
And
Ready?
I'll take it with me.
Okay, I think we're ready, guys.
Yes.
Okay, good evening, everybody. This is the zoning board of appeals meeting of August 27th, 2026. Call the meeting to order. Roll call. Jude Salato.
Joseph Fellick?
Howard Harris.
Changes and additions to the meeting agenda. I have some changes I would like to add for case 2501, application of Ian Vinci. We have a resolution to dismiss. 260, that was 2501. That was supposed to be 2501. I just feel like my voices aren't strong enough. Okay, 2601, application of Lisa Nardi. I do have a slight update, and application number 2605 of Aaron Yassine. We are going to have a discussion. So I move that do we need to vote on that, guys? Let's vote on that.
Vote on what?
To adopt the changes to the agenda.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Minutes to be approved. Move that we approve. I'm going to do them all together. 5/14/2026, 5/28/2026, 6/11/2026, and 7/23/2026. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
First of all,
Okay, so
just
yes.
for procedural purposes, you
Yes.
made a motion.
yes?
I'm seconding it.
Okay, thank you.
I put you guys.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
next, we're
Oh,
voting.
so do we need to break out?
No, you can do them all together.
She said she was only here for the last one, Olivia, so
So she can recuse on,
you can abstain on 5/14, 5/28, and 6/11.
Yeah.
Let's vote on the rest of them for the rest of us. All in favor?
aye,
Aye. Okay, 7/23, all in favor?
aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, we have a public hearing scheduled for ZBA case 2610, application of Deborah Goldberg, as represented by Juliet Walker of Evolve Design, 86 Millfield Road, Woodstock, New York, for a property located at 7173 Ohio Mountain Road, a 5.41 acre parcel located within R5 zoning district with scenic overlay for variances from the zoning law of the town of Woodstock, Article 5, accessory apartment and detached structure, Section 260-60EF, in order to allow an existing 10,776 square foot guest house to be increased in size by,
1,000.
did I say 10,000?
Oh, goodness. I was like, wow.
1,076 square foot guest house to be increased in size by 914 square feet to create an accessory apartment that does not meet the applicable requirements. So the representative and the applicant are here.
Yes.
Could you come up, please, and
Do we have
introduce
to-
yourselves?
Sure.
Let's open it. I think I need to open it. All in favor?
I seconded and I.
Sorry.
That's okay.
We haven't had a meeting in a while.
I know.
I'm Julia, welcome from Evolved Interiors.
Hi, come have a seat, please.
Okay.
Did you bring any materials with us to share with us?
Well, I
Did you to share with us? Okay, great.
I think that our numbers are not quite lining up in terms of
Okay.
square footage, so I brought 4 copies of this.
Great, that's what we need. Okay, 4 copies of the Michelle one. Is this different than what Michelle got over the phone?
I think it's pretty darn close.
Oh, sure.
Okay, and 4 copies.
This is Deborah.
Yeah.
Yes, this is
Hi,
Deborah.
good
evening. Okay.
Hi, Deborah.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1076 is what she had. And it's not 914, but 940.
Yes,
Okay, good to know.
it's approximate, but
Okay. All right, so please tell us what you'd like to do.
so what we intended to do was just extend the length of the ranch. So it's a ranch cottage right now, and we just would like to extend it out to the right.
Okay.
As you're facing it from the road.
Okay,
And we wanted to add a bathroom and divide the additional space in the front into 2 sections.
Mhm.
So one part would become the bedroom. There's another room that would become an office.
okay.
And then the front part would become a living room.
Did you bring drawings?
I did bring drawings.
Thank you. Because, you know, I look at these on my laptop and
And what's the purpose of doing this?
It's to enable her family to be accommodated on the property, her entire family. So her mother passed and left the property to her. And by adding this additional space, it will allow her brother and her father to be with her in the same space all at once, in addition to the other members of the family. So these are the general drawings we're still working.
Okay.
But this is original.
Mhm.
This is all original. So
And
we're,
you're saying this original size
yes, this is all
is
original.
1,076 square feet. Is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
Yes. And then this is the addition,
The
which is
additional
sort of
line.
an L shape right here. This is a porch.
Okay,
The porch currently exists.
Yes, the porch is existing.
Okay.
So this is the only addition.
and do you know the age of this cottage?
1986. Give or take, but I believe most of the construction on the property took place in the mid.
And I saw, which I was unable to get because it was done in the 90s, that there was a special use permit to grant this is a guest cottage, to grant it to become an accessory apartment?
I was not the owner of the property at that time, so I would have to rely on your expertise for that.
Okay, so we're gonna have to probably find out about that.
And you live in New Jersey full-time?
No, I actually live here most of the time, and I spend somewhere between 1 and 3 nights in a week. I work in New Jersey.
And your brother and father live where?
My father, his partner, my stepsister, my stepbrother-in-law, my stepniece all live in New Jersey. I have another stepsister and stepbrother-in-law and stepnephew who live in Colorado. And my brother and my brother-in-law live in the Bay Area in California. Since they're able to work remotely for significant portions of the year, it is our hope that we would be able to use this space to accommodate the 3 of us living through the year while still being able to host the rest of our family.
When you made an application for this expansion, did Butch explain to you what the current law is, and what the law is since 1989? Did he give you?
After I submitted the permit, but not before.
Okay, so you understand that.
So we understand that the permit was denied.
Right,
based
do you
on-
understand what the limitation of an accessory dwelling unit or an accessory
No,
apartment is?
not exactly.
Okay, so I took the section of the law and it's a maximum of 800 square feet.
Right.
You already are exceeding that by over 200 square feet. And, or 35% of the total available space. of the principal residence. So what you're asking us for is basically a second house on your property, right? I mean, this is a very, if an accessory apartment is limited to 800 square feet, and you're asking for almost a 2,000 square foot building, that's a lot to ask for. And essentially, I mean, this is me, I'm speaking, I'm one person here. Essentially, you're asking us to change the zoning law and allow you to have two houses on one property. And just to let you know, that's where I'm coming from. I just have to say it right off the bat because I don't want to mislead you. That's my opinion. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to hear from the public and I like to hear from other members of the board, but I was a bit surprised when I saw this because it is so extreme. Does anybody else have anything to say or questions before we go to the public?
I mean, the reason why I asked you the questions about where you live and where your father and brother live, or the reason I asked the questions is because it seems, I don't want to say unlikely, but a little bit of a stretch to assume that they're going to be the main occupants of this.
As opposed to who?
Well, I don't know what your intent is to use it. That's what I'm trying to find out.
If I may assure you that there is no intent at any point in any stretch of my ownership of this property to use it in any way as a vacation rental, if that is part of your concern. I have no interest in that whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, it is only just, you know.
You're saying it feels suspect to you in a way because it's too much space to
I'm
just.
saying it's not like they live here
Yes.
or they're moving here
Right.
to occupy it. They're in Colorado and California and it's a big project to undertake, to have people who live across the country spend time with your family.
My understanding.
I understand it.
The genesis of this project was COVID. And part of what happened
Right.
was we had an extreme situation in this country. San Francisco
Right.
is perpetually on fire right now. So there is a real possibility that people may move their cheese.
Right. I
I
totally understand.
If I may expand and elaborate, I should be very honest about this. While I can't speak to an exact timeline, the ultimate end goal of this project is for my brother and brother-in-law to live here with me for significant parts of the year, months and weeks at a time.
Okay.
Similarly, my father and and his partner and my step family are interested in being able to be here with us on a fairly regular basis as their schedules will accommodate. But most importantly, there is absolutely no plan at any point in any timeline of using this as a vacation rental. I'm on my property very often, every week, somewhere between 3 and 5 or 6 days a week, and that is just not something that I would want to do.
How many bedrooms is in the residence?
In the residence, there are 2 bedrooms.
No, currently there's one bedroom.
Oh,
No,
in
the
this-
rest of the house.
Oh, the whole-
in the main residence,
Yes.
there are 2 bedrooms.
Yes.
So the main residence is almost 3,000 square feet and it has 2 bedrooms.
That's correct. It has
And
two
how many people live in that building?
I currently live there, and then when my sister and brother-in-law come and stay with me, they live with me in the house.
And the extended living area, what is the purpose of it being enlarged?
I'm sorry, on the,
The extended.
And the accessory,
the extended is the purpose of the additional room.
extension, it says existing kitchen, living area, and then it says living extension.
Oh, the purpose of that was simply to create a space where the people who were living in the accessory unit would be able to congregate comfortably. As the space is currently laid out, there's not a common area per se.
And do we have something with the dimensions of the different rooms?
I think you can see the dimensions here. They're very difficult to read. I believe they're parallels. They're illegible.
You're tiny. I know, I was trying on the computer.
just looking on the page to see if we can see those. I don't see them anymore clearly. Perhaps on one of those pages there, you'll see them more, but the program does not print large enough for anybody, honestly.
But you must know what they are.
I actually don't off the top of my head.
Okay.
I don't. I think that the long space, the long wall along the side of the house is 28 feet. That the bathroom width is 73 inches across because of the bathtub. I know that. And I think it's 8 feet long. So that I do know.
And the office space is for what purpose?
The office space is that my brother and brother-in-law both work in tech, and when they stay with me, they need to be able to work remotely. What's somewhat silly is that since they work for competing companies, they're not able to work in the same room together.
And there's no space in your house to do that?
My brother does actually keep his computer in my office with me in the house when he's here. So the point of the office would be to enable my brother-in-law to set up a space for him to work.
Does anybody have any questions from the board? Shall we please read the committee's minutes?
May I just say one more thing about the addition?
So Holly has it. Could you please pass that over to Michelle?
Okay.
You can keep that one and just
Okay.
pass it on folder.
The last thing I would like to say about the addition, if I may, is that the elevation of this addition exactly matches the existing elevation.
Okay.
So it literally looks, it will be clad in exactly the same way. It will not look like some sort of out of place addition. It will not stand out. It is sided the same way. It literally has the same windows. Everything is the same. So it is meant to look like a single structure that has always existed. So I don't know if that matters, but it's not something where the neighbors would look at it and be like, oh my God, what did they build here?
Right.
You know, it'll blend, yes.
Monterey Trust, 69 Ohio Mountain Road, Barbara and Walter Fortree, PO Box 824 Woodstock, Howard and Karen Cohen, 105 Ohio Mountain Road, Patricia and Robert Cantine, 95 Ohio Mountain Road, Woodstock Mill Hill, 7476 Ohio Mountain Road, and Sophie Winston, 325 East 57th Street, apartment 14B.
Any contiguous neighbors here? Yes? Okay, one of you like to introduce yourselves and tell us if you have, did you have anything you wanted to say? Okay.
Jim and Joan Lonergan.
Hi,
We are immediately next to them.
We're immediately next
Are
door.
they on the
We
list that
actually
was just read?
Lonergan?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, we actually own 2
They
properties.
own the properties, I think they own.
Yeah.
the
We
building.
have 2
Yes.
cottages that are pre-existing non-conforming on a
Right.
3-acre parcel, and
Yes.
then our primary residence is on about 5 acres.
Right.
And I wanna say Deborah is a great neighbor. We really enjoy, a really great relationship as far as I'm concerned. So what I'm going to say has nothing to do with that whatsoever. There was a neighbor that was right next door to us on the other side of our cottages that requested that their house be doubled in size. And at that point, I spoke out and I said that was unacceptable for a couple of reasons. One is, I've been in real estate for a really long time. I've always promoted that the town does the right thing in terms of really keeping to the zoning, and that the pristine look of what you see is what you're going to see when you buy something. I am not saying that visually this would be a terrible impact, and I know that Deborah does not rent to other people, so all of that stuff is not about how I feel. How I feel is that when we made an investment for our family to be here, we made an investment that the zoning laws, unless they're gonna change, need to be upheld. And that's really the only thing that's my only opinion about it. If she wanted to build another 1,000 square feet onto her house, or even make a little breezeway in another building that attaches to her house, obviously go ahead, but I feel like this feels to me, and to her specific situation, and I'm sympathetic with this situation, but the next owner may decide that they're not using it for the same reasons you are. And so now all of a sudden we have two houses on a 5 acre zoning, and there is not one property that surrounds us that I know of where there's two houses that could withstand 2.5 acres each. It's just not there. So I wanna say I feel very badly saying this, but I think that that's just my position and how I feel about, you know, we haven't asked our cottages to be subdivided, it's on 3 acres. I know that that's not losses we can do, so.
So can I just clarify, you don't have any objection to what she's proposing visually, physically?
Visually, I don't have any objection, but I have.
And she's been a good neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
But your position is that the law has to be followed regardless of how
Well,
you view
you know,
the project or anything?
Yeah, I mean, if it was, first of all, it's huge. I mean, you know, if it was 300 square feet, that's a different thing than 900 square feet. So coming up the driveway, and it's like I said, visually it will probably look fine, but it's still two houses that are very visual, and it impacts our neighborhood. There's somebody across the street that said they were building a garage. They didn't build a garage, they built an apartment, and there's these, they really did. So whatever they got through to say that they were building a garage didn't happen. It happens a lot in Woodstock. I know that things are started out as one thing and then they turn into something else. I'm just saying that I really don't appreciate that and every time I go off the block, that breaks my heart to see that there's a residence there and they said it was a garage. So I'm just saying that, yeah. So I'm opposed to, I like I said, you know, I want to build onto my house another 1,000 square feet, I have to increase my septic and all that stuff, but you know, if she wanted to increase her house, I have no problem, but this particular building is going to look like two full-size houses, 2,000 square feet, and the law doesn't allow for it.
Okay, did you want to respond?
I did
No,
wanna-
but you know what the thing is, we're not supposed to do it back and forth. The
I just
two-
have
you
a
can tell
question.
us.
Okay, my question about what she said was in all of the sauce of what she was saying, she said 300 square feet would be fine. I believe I heard that, I'm not sure.
Yeah, no.
But it's not, that's not her decision, but I.
No,
No, I'm just,
that's
I'm
what
just,
she
but I'm
said.
saying-
I'm just wondering if there's a way to bridge a gap here where we could
Well,
try.
it's not a negotiation between you
No.
and that.
Yeah.
No, I
They're
understand
just
that,
weighing in.
but I'm actually talking to you now.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's any possible way to sort of try to keep it within the same footprint with a tiny addition, like we have a porch here. Is there any, I don't really understand the rules, so I'm not trying to be confrontational or anything. I really am trying to understand and give my client what she wants. If we were to enclose this porch area, which is part of the existing footprint, and we were able to put a little more space on here, like another 300 square feet onto that, would that be something that could work?
You can withdraw it, right?
Yeah.
You can withdraw the
You
application.
Well, you can
and
modify,
resubmit it.
your
Yeah.
application. Again, okay, I would like to let the rest of the public speak before I say anything else, because I've been pretty adamant.
Mr. Harris has a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
The porch isn't considered, my living area, so that's negligible. But how far is the house from the cottage?
How far is the house from the cottage? Tim?
Say about, I'll say about good 60 yards, 70 yards.
Thank you.
Yes,
Other
would you
neighbors.
like to speak?
For us?
Would you like to
Yeah,
speak?
sure.
Yes.
The porch isn't part of their square footage on the house, it's separate,
Yes. I
even
believe
if
so.
there's a foundation.
Yeah.
It's not
No, it's
considered
not
living
considered
area.
living
Oh, it's not considered.
So we came out of, you've basically confirmed what we thought, might want to be doing on your property. But super respectful of what you have to say. But just to say, our house is, where we live is on the other side, it's the main house, whereas you're on the side of the house where the structure is, we're on the other side, so we don't see it as much. So we just came really to understand and to hear, because we got the letter.
Okay.
And we thought just to come and understand, but no real objections, but very respectful of what we've heard about maintaining the integrity of the town. But yeah, leave it to you guys to figure
Okay.
out. Yeah.
Did you have something you wanted to say?
Me?
Yes, you're here. I
I
just
think
want
he's
to.
part of the group.
Are you part of this
He's
group?
our contractor.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Okay.
It's not a neighbor, just.
He's just
Okay.
here to support.
He's here to give you some
Yeah.
moral support. Okay. Does anybody else have anything from the board? I'm going to reiterate what I said, and you know what, I can't speak for the whole board, but I'm going to say this extremely emphatically. I believe in our zoning, and I believe if we allow you to have two houses on your property, the floodgates are going to open. Everybody's going to want it. Why wouldn't they? You know, somebody who's living on 15 acres isn't allowed to have two houses on their property. I mean, that's just the way the law is. And an accessory apartment is supposed to be accessory to the main house. And this is, you know, this is far more than that. I mean, people live in houses that are 1,000 square feet. I mean, you're asking for a 2,000 square foot house in addition to an almost, what did I say, 3,000 square foot house. So you are welcome to pursue this. You can modify it. I would encourage you, again, me personally, to consider putting an addition on your house, which you are completely able to do under the law. But to have two separate houses, the law is pretty strong on it, and I feel like already, and I'm guessing because it was pre-existing, I would like to see the SUP. I don't think there was a variance, but because the building was there, I think the planning board gave the allowance to convert it to an accessory apartment. I don't think it had a kitchen before. I'm not sure what it had, but it's already exceeding
No
what's
kitchen.
allowed under the
Yeah,
law
there
by
was no
2,000
kitchen.
square feet. I mean, 200 square feet, excuse me. I'm betting lots of zeros tonight. But anyway, so, you know, so already it's bigger than what is allowed. If I were to put one up on my property, I could only have 35% of my main structure, and and the maximum is 800 square feet. So
I mean,
you're,
just as a matter of, you know, sort of timing and process for you. You know, I think it's unlikely to get approved.
Okay, thank you for being transparent about that, because that saves us a lot of, you know, machinations.
If it were me, we can't tell you what to do.
Yes.
We can, you know, we can go through the process, we can visit the site, we can write a decision, which will take a period of time and.
Understood, and
But-
resources, yes.
But what you might want to consider doing is withdrawing it
Mhm.
and resubmitting it with, you know, a different proposal along the lines that people are suggesting, or something like that. But it's totally up to you.
I think that is great advice.
well, if you wanted to put an addition onto your house, that's a whole other process that you go through with the building department.
Sure.
You know, making sure the septic is adequate, and you know how you meet your setbacks and all of those. That has nothing to do with us. But you're looking for an exception to the zoning law, and you know, a lot of times, just to give you an example, somebody might want to put up a shed, and they're supposed to have a 25-foot setback. They come to us and they say, "Can we reduce it to 10?" I mean, that's a completely different scale. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, we understand you don't want the shed in the middle of your yard, but something like this is a really big variance to ask for.
Okay.
I don't know if you have, you know, I don't want to put people on the spot
No,
because we're just here.
yeah, I don't know who made the point, but yeah, the variance goes with the property, not with the owner.
Right.
So whatever assurances we get from you about the use of the property, if you were to sell it, the next owner may not
Right, it could be moved.
would not have to follow that and could
Right.
rent it or, do something. So that's, when we're looking at this, that's part of what our focus is. Yeah. I don't want you to think it's about you. It's more about
Right, right.
the process.
Well, I mean, it's also setting a very big precedent. I mean, really, if you think about it, I mean, it just means that anybody could come to us and say, hey, I want a 2,000 square foot accessory apartment, which is another house on the property. That's the precedent that we would be setting.
Okay, so fair,
Yes,
it is written, understood. I am new to this, and so
Okay.
I'm learning. My next question would be, if we were to put an addition on the house, is there a limitation to the size of the addition that we could put on the house?
I don't believe so. I think you just have to meet setbacks.
Just a
To meet the setbacks, and probably you'd have to deal with the Ulster County Health Department to make sure if you had more bedrooms, that your septic is adequate.
But conceivably, I could add a 4,000 square foot addition onto the existing home as long as I adhered to the setbacks and did all the septic things I needed to do and all those.
Absolutely, yes.
Interesting, okay.
Yes.
And
Good to know.
I don't know what the nature of your business is, so I don't mean this to be insulting in any way, but an architect may be able to help you.
Oh, we have an architect, he
Okay.
actually did these drawings.
Well, they may
So-
be able to give you some insight if
Okay.
you're going to add something to the existing structure, what
Okay.
you're able to do.
All right, so I guess that I will confer with my client and we'll figure out what our next steps are.
Okay.
All right, but
Thank
thank you for
If
your
you,
time.
if you want to proceed, we'll do all the things that we do,
But
but
honestly, you have been pretty clear that that is a non-starter. So I think we will pivot, we will find a way to
I
pivot.
think there's something in the folder that belongs to them. You might have scooped up, when you scooped up the papers. No,
Michelle
that-
has
No,
no,
I didn't-
no, there's something,
no, that's the folder.
No, it's, the only things I really care about are these, because they have notes on them. But I thank you for your time.
Yes, thank
And
you.
your service for doing this. I know this is a volunteer activity for you, so thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Okay, I move that we close the public hearing for ZBA case 2610, second please.
Second.
All in favor?
I'm sorry, I really am.
Jim?
That we.
You got so long.
Thank you.
Yes,
I'm sorry. Okay. Move that we recess case CBA case 2610. Second please. Second please, recess.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right.
God, you got old. So did I.
Hey, listen, look at the table.
Okay.
We all are.
No, but I knew him.
Is that Michelle?
We knew him.
Michelle, the young.
She doesn't look a
she's-
day, she doesn't look a day over 50. Yeah,
That's exactly what I am.
See, that's why I asked him how far they were, because technically, they could have done was done a walkway between the two buildings. and
Right.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna move on here. So we have, excuse me, we have
A debate.
ZBA case 2501, application of Ian Vinci. Move to open the case. Second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have a resolution which I'm going to read. Everybody ready? Resolution dismissing Woodstock Zoning Board of Appeals case without prejudice. Ian Vinci ZBA 2501. Whereas Mr. Ian Vinci made an application to the Zoning Board of Appeals on February 21st, 2025 for property located at 234 Tinker Street, Woodstock, New York, 12498, a 5.15 acre parcel located within an SLI zoning district for variances from the zoning law of the town of Woodstock, Article 4, Area and Bulk Regulations, Section 260-16, Attachment 2, for an 87-foot infringement into a 125-foot side yard setback on the west side, and Section 260-16, Attachment 2, for a 94-foot infringement into a 125-foot side yard setback on the east side in order to construct a 50-foot by 100-foot metal storage building. And whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a duly advertised public hearing on this application at Town Hall on March 21st, 2025. Several members of the public provided comments and concerns, including but not limited to the size of the structure, encroachment into the setbacks, proposed location, impact to quality of life, impact to nearby stream corridor, and potential noise. The public hearing was continued to a later date, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals referred the application to the Ulster County Planning Board pursuant to New York State Law General Municipal Law 239M, and whereas on May 7th, 2025, the Ulster County Planning Board reviewed the application at its public meeting. Several members of the public and neighbors were also in attendance at the Ulster County Planning Board and provided additional comments to the Ulster County Planning Board. And whereas the Ulster County Planning Board requested additional information in its comments back to the Zoning Board of Appeals. According to the Ulster County Planning Board, quote, "This request is for critical details necessary for the ZBA to conduct the area variances balancing test, particularly regarding community character and the degree of the requested variance, which exceeds 50% of the statute's requirement," unquote. The Ulster County Planning Board stated, quote, "Contextual details must be provided so the ZBA can understand how the proposal fits into the surrounding neighborhood. Photo simulations are recommended for this purpose," unquote. The Ulster County Planning Board also noted that the applicant requests 2 area variances greater than the 50% requirement of the zoning statute, and noted the requirement that the minimum variance necessary and adequate to satisfy the hardship must be balanced against the other aspects of the variance test. The Ulster County Planning Board recommended an exploration of alternative layouts, designs, and locations for the proposed storage building. The Ulster County Planning Board further recommended a coordinated review with the Town of Woodstock Planning Board under the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act to identify potential environmental impacts with constructing a 5,000 square foot building, particularly the requested side yard variances. And whereas the Ulster County Planning Board recommended the above referenced materials and analysis be provided to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and then referred again to the Ulster County Planning Board with the updated materials. And whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals continued the public hearing on June 12th, 2025, and whereas additional comments and concerns were received from the public during the public hearing. The Zoning Board of Appeals also discussed comments and requested information received from the Ulster County Planning Board. And whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals recessed the public hearing with instructions for Mr. Vinci to return with alternate plans, photos, as well as detailed site plans as recommended by the Ulster County Planning Board. And whereas on February 9th, 2026, having not received any further submissions, the chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals emailed Mr. Vinci requesting an update on the status of the application, on whether he planned to continue his application, and further included a request that Mr. Vinci respond by February 23rd, 2026, with a date certain that he will return to the Zoning Board of Appeals with the materials requested by the board. Whereas Mr. Vinci replied via email on February 10th, 2026 to the Zoning Board of Appeals that he would like to keep the application open, but did not provide any of the requested materials, nor did he provide a date by which such materials would be provided. And whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals has now waited an additional 6 months and has not received any further communications from Mr. Vinci, and whereas no further submission of requested materials have been received from Mr. Vinci in over a year, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals has determined that the lack of communication and progress for many months warrants the dismissal of the application. Now, therefore, be it resolved, based on all the facts described above and upon the reasoning described above, as follows. Section 1, due to the inactivity and lack of requested materials from the applicant, Mr. Ian Vinci, the Zoning Board closes the public hearing on ZBA case Mr. Ian Vinci 2501. Section 2, due to the inactivity and lack of requested materials from the applicant, the Zoning Board of Appeals dismisses ZBA case Mr. Ian Vinci 2501 as incomplete without prejudice. Section 3, the dismissal shall be without prejudice, and the applicant shall be permitted to submit an amended area variance application with the submission of the materials previously requested by the Zoning Board of Appeals and the requested materials and information previously requested from the Ulster County Planning Board. Section 4, we direct the Zoning Board of Appeals clerk to obtain the final invoices from the board's consultants and to pay those invoices from the escrow deposit posted by the applicant, the town of Woodstock shall return any remaining escrow funds to Mr. Vinci once all accounting is completed. Section 5, any submission of an amended area variance application shall be contingent upon the applicant paying all applicable fees and required escrow deposits. I move that we approve the resolution.
Could
Is there a
you, I'm
second?
sorry,
Could you
I was
repeat that?
talking to Mr. Harris, could you reread that?
Slower this time,
No,
right?
I'm
Do I have a second?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I guess I should have let you fill this out. The vote was announced as follows: Judith Salato, aye. Joseph Bellett,
Aye.
Martin Mills is absent. Greg Goodrow is absent. Olivia Twine.
Aye.
And Howard Harris is an alternate, but you could vote if you want to hear it.
I don't want to vote.
Okay, by a vote of 3 in favor, 0 opposed, 2 absent, and 0 abstaining. So we can finally take this off of our agendas that are, yeah, outstanding. Yeah, so I'm gonna put a date on this, 8/27. It's been a long time. There we go. All right, moving on. I guess let's open, just so I can give you a brief, 2601 application, Lisa Nardi, second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. This is just a brief update. I spoke to the new building inspector today, and I think she's calling to speak to Ms. Nardi about several different things. So that feels like maybe that will progress as well. That's all I had to say. Does
Great.
anybody have anything? Okay, good. Okay, move to recess.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Move to open ZBA case 2605, application of Aaron Yassine, Glasgow Ridge LLC. Second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so as you know, and we all well know, we have had 3 public hearings. I guess only 2 of them were really actually produced any testimony. But it's really time for us to have a public discussion about this and move this case along. So what I did was I kind of created an outline, so to kind of guide us in our discussion, because whatever we discuss probably should appear in our decision. So I'm just going to go through, I hope everybody's up for this, because we really need to talk about it, by our criteria. So the first one is whether an undesirable change would be produced in the character of the neighborhood and community, or a detriment to the nearby properties created by granting the area variance. So I'm just gonna, I'm always the one who jumps out and says what I have to say, but I don't know if anybody has anything to offer on this one. If you have anything about how you feel about community character, if we were to allow this variance.
Am I allowed to speak?
Yeah, of course.
I don't think it's a detriment to the nearby properties, because there's a lot of small, undersized lots in the area.
Okay.
And we're going to be open, I'm pretty sure, for an Article 78, based upon that fact.
Okay, well, I don't think you should be interpreting what we're gonna get challenged on at this point, but okay. That's your opinion. Anybody else?
I thought just based on the feedback from the neighbors, not that that's determinative, but I thought they made a good case that the quality of the character of the neighborhood would be impacted. So I would be inclined to vote that there will be an impact.
I agree. I think adding a house where the law doesn't provide for it would have a long-standing impact.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, I've been working hard. I like to just demonstrate with Howard. I took the local tax map and I colored in green all the properties that are larger than 3 acres. So I don't think that we would really necessarily be wrong to say that there's a few small properties that are less than 3 acres. Now this is, this is a particular portion of this tax map, but I have more to say about that, but I just wanted to show you
All
a
those,
visual
all
of what's
those,
going on there.
those white things are undersized lots?
The white things are the undersized lots, everything else is larger, some of them are
Okay.
23 acres, some of them are 28,
Oh,
some of them, okay, so moving on to that, the neighbors did all the contiguous neighbors did come to the hearing and expressed their concerns about density, the environment, their water resources, both the stream, the vernal ponds, the nearby wetlands, which, they are not. He has established with the DEC that there are no wetlands on his property, but there are nearby. So there, the stream, there are wells, safety in terms of the road. And so there's the testimony of the people who came, which are in the minutes, and also there's some neighbor emails in the file. So I went, what I did, just so you know, is because I really tried to be very thorough and look at what they gave us. And they, and their logic or their reasoning for why they should get this. So they presented an acreage comparison map, which were properties that are less than 1 acre. So I didn't take all of them, and I will do some more, but these are the ones that they identified, and I'll probably add these in. And so I did some research, and I spoke to the Ulster County Real Property Department, and every single one of these undersized lots were created prior to the 1989 zoning law. Some of these houses were built in the 1840s. I'm not going to read through everything that I found, but I would say I think it's fairly safe to say that, for example, this development right here, the houses were built in 1973. I didn't take every single one of them, but it's pretty, you can just see by looking at it, this was a development that was done all at the same time. The houses were built in 73. Chances are this subdivision was done prior to that. And most of these look that way. The other thing I learned by talking to the real property people in Ulster County is that any lot number, I had to get an education here because they didn't mark any of this out, like what the section block and lot numbers are. I had to look all this up. But any lot number, I don't know if you know this with your property, you have a section which is on the tax map. You have a block, which is whatever the little, the numbers, and you have your own lot number. And they basically told me that any lot number that is a single digit was created prior to 1971, and those maps were all created in 1971, 1973. So when these maps were created, these properties already existed through deed or subdivision or however it was done back then. The pre-existing zoning, I think, was in 1965. So if we're looking at any lots that have a single digit on them, didn't really need to go and investigate exactly when the houses were built, because we know that they were in existence prior to that period of 1971 to 1973. So the zoning law has been in existence for 37 years. So these are even going back even further. So, so I look at this and I say, okay, I was here when the town adopted the 1989 zoning laws. I know you were, and I don't know if you were or not. How were we here in 1989?
No.
Okay, so Tinker and I were. And the reason the town did what it did was because there was a lot of, excuse me?
1986 I got here.
Okay, so you were here.
Yeah, but I wasn't involved with the town.
Okay, all right, well, okay, so the reason that it happened, the town chose to create these districts with larger lot sizes was because there was a lot of pressure to develop. And a lot of these areas really couldn't withstand environmentally that kind of density. So I went and I looked at the residential R3 district, and it says it's a low density residential district. Land within the R3 district is generally at a slope of 10% to 15%, and includes those areas identified as ecologically sensitive areas by the town's open spaces plan. Okay, so there was that. So that pretty clearly says these are lands that we consider ecologically sensitive. That's why we've expanded the lot sizes. And then I went to look at, because they did mention this section of the zoning law, 260 Article 4, area and bulk regulations, 260-20, permitted modification of minimum lot area. So what that means is basically, if I have a 10-acre parcel and I'm in a 5-acre zoning district, I could make a 2-acre lot and an 8-acre lot. I'm allowed to make a smaller one as long as it doesn't change the density. And what the law says, which I felt was fairly emphatic, under no circumstances shall more lots be created than would otherwise be created if the parcel were subdivided in compliance with the maximum lot area requirement for the district. So I look at a statement like that, which says, under no circumstances. So then I think, well, what circumstances would warrant a change of that? And I don't necessarily see that this subdivision really warrants that. We're not, and we're talking about, which I guess I'll talk about later, but the other thing was that the small lots that I was able to identify, you can see where they are, you can see where they are on this map. This was in the old days when people didn't have long driveways. You know, they tried to be pretty close to the road, so they had access. So we're talking about not all this open space up here. You know, we're talking about, you know, pretty much houses that are close to the road. All right, last on this point, thank you for being patient.
It's okay, I have to leave in 10 minutes, so,
I gotta talk fast.
yes.
Density not design. The ZBA cannot mandate any particular size, style, or design. And, you know, and the applicants were pretty, you know, they are very enthusiastic about their notion of what they want to put on this property. But as you said, you know, we can't control who's going to own the property and what their choices are going to be. And we also can't say, if you buy this property, you have to put this kind of house on it, or even to these owners, we can't say that. So I think that although it may be laudable, it's not something that we can regulate. Okay, so hopefully these will go faster. The second criteria is whether the benefit sought by the applicant be achieved by some feasible method other than an area variance.
Yes.
Okay, so what are you thinking?
In their testimony or their application, they said they were in the process of negotiating the purchase of additional land.
Okay.
So there is an alternative.
Right.
That's it.
That's an alternative. Anybody else have anything they want to?
I mean, again, also just to follow up on what Mr. Harris said, that they, you know, indicated if they weren't given the variance, that they had alternatives that might be less welcomed by the neighbors. So I think they even acknowledged that they have alternatives to this.
That's a good point, actually. You know, I think that what the law says basically is you can't tell someone they can't use their property. They don't have to have the highest use of their property in zoning, but you can't say you can't use it. So they could have one house. There's nobody's saying they can't build a house there. And the other thing is, you know, like the law says, you know, you can always sell it if you don't like the way it's going. So those are their alternatives. Next criteria is whether the requested area variance is substantial. Anybody have an opinion about that one?
I mean, I think it's substantial.
Yeah.
You know, it's so. I'm not sure that's even in dispute.
Right, I don't
I
think they're
agree,
even
but I
disputing
didn't
it.
want to prolong the more than 10 minutes.
Okay, he's not gonna, just let her talk and be done, right? They calculated it and they said that it was 27%, which is, I think their quote was, it's not trivial. It's almost 1 acre. We're not talking about, like I said, those minor variances, which are a few feet. This is almost an entire acre. And then I just wanted to mention, also I called Gordon just to see if he remembered, we don't get very many of these undersized lot subdivision requests, variance requests. So I called him to see if he remembered any, and he did not. And the only two I remember are in Baker Road and Mink Hollow Road, and we denied both of them, so we did set that precedent. Okay. Whether the proposed area variance would have an adverse effect or impact on the physical and environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. I already said about what the zoning law says, that it's an
Yes.
ecologically sensitive area. We have the report from the Woodstock Environmental Commission that identified significant environmental concerns: steep slopes, Fontaine Kill, Stream Gorge, the small rural pond, nearby wetlands, and exposed bedrock. So the WC basically said it is ecologically sensitive. It's not an abolition of the district. The Ulster County Planning Board, I'm quoting, said this section of Glasgow Turnpike has limited sight distances, features steep slopes on the north side of the road, and a road geometry that has a history of accidents due to high-speed driving. I didn't go to the site, and I was kind of trusting the Environmental Commission and all these other reports. So I drove by it, and there is a 20-foot cliff on the road. So it's not like it's a big flat piece of property, and there's going to have to be some serious work, I think, for visibility and all of those other things. And that's not our department, but I think we have to look at that and say, adding more cars, another residence, to a situation where the county has identified that section of the road as being particularly dangerous, would be a significant environmental impact. And the fifth criteria is whether or not the hardship was I don't know what the language exactly is, I didn't write it down, was self-created, and clearly it was. And this property was purchased in January of this year.
And anecdotally, a lot of the neighbors commented on traffic conditions and
Yes.
issues with the roadway.
Right, and one of the neighbors, and I have seen this on Glasgow Turnpike, where people had two driveways, like a circular or a U-shaped driveway, and the county has closed one of those access points to try to make it more safe. So that's what I have, friends. How are people feeling? Because we have to draft this one and have it done.
I'm not inclined to approve the
Okay.
request.
Nor am I.
You better show up.
Okay, all right, so I move that we recess application of Aaron Yassin, 2605, second please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I don't have anything else, is it? I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Look, you've got 4 minutes
3
to spare.
minutes to spare.
3 minutes to spare.
My wife